Hey everyone, and welcome back. We are diving deep into all this AI news that's just blowing up online right now.
Yeah.
GPT 4.5, AI startups raising billions without a product even. And what is Meta even doing with these AI chatbots? We have headlines, analyses, open source code, so much to get through. Let's just get started.
It's definitely a whirlwind out there.
Wow.
It feels like every single day there's just some new AI thing that's changing everything up.
Yeah. Okay, so first up, GPT 4.5, OpenAI, just released this massive update. And it's causing such a stir, even though they're saying it's not a frontier model.
Right.
Better, faster, less hallucinations, but not quite the next level AI that we're all kind of waiting for.
Yeah, and it's interesting that OpenAI is being so careful about the way they're talking about this, especially with how big it is and the advancements they're saying they made. It could be strategic, though, right? Managing expectations and addressing those concerns about AI safety that never really go away.
So they don't want to freak everyone out by saying, hey, we're one step closer to super intelligent AI.
Right, exactly. It's like they're trying to walk this fine line between showing their progress, but also reassuring everyone that they're still in control. And don't forget that GPT 4.5 is multimodal, so it's trained on way more than just text.
Okay, wait, hold on. My head's spinning already. Multimodal, what kind of data are we talking about here?
We're talking images, audio, maybe even video.
War.
This means that GPT 4.5 could understand and generate content in ways that we haven't even imagined yet.
Wow. Okay, so GPT 4.5 is big news, but there's something else that is just even crazier to me. This story about Ilya Sutskever, he's one of the founders of OpenAI, and he's starting this new company called Safe Superintelligence.
And they've raised, get this, $30 billion.
$30 billion in funding.
And here's the thing. They don't have a product yet.
Yeah, exactly. It's a huge debt on Sutskever's vision of achieving safe superintelligence, which basically means creating AI that's smarter than humans, but still somehow good for us. I mean, it sounds like something straight out of a sci-fi movie, superintelligent AI that's also safe. Is that even possible?
That's the billion-dollar question, literally. And you have to remember that Sutskever has made some pretty bold claims before. He's even said that neural networks might already be conscious. So there's this added layer of intrigue and mystery surrounding his new venture.
Okay, so we have OpenAI kind of trying to keep expectations in check with this GPT 4.5. And then you have Sutskever swinging for the fences with safe superintelligence. And while those two are going at it, Meta's over here jumping into the ring with their own AI plans.
Yeah, they're reportedly developing a standalone AI chatbot app that they're going to launch soon. And here's the twist. They're thinking about doing a paid subscription model for it with extra features.
Wait, a paid subscription for a chatbot? What could they possibly offer to make people actually pay for that?
That's what everyone is wondering. Meta's betting that they can offer a premium experience that's worth paying for. Maybe personalized coaching or advanced content creation tools, or even access to exclusive information. Who knows?
It's a bold move, for sure. I mean, remember that whole AI gadget era? All those devices that were supposed to, change the world, but ended up being total flops.
Yeah,
like the Humane AI pin and the Rabbit R1.
Right. And that's a good reminder that integrating AI into the devices and platforms we already use is probably going to be more successful than trying to create entirely new gadgets. Most of us are already carrying around crazy powerful AI in our pockets with their smartphones, so the real question is how AI can improve what we already have instead of trying to replace it.
That's a good point. So while Meta's going all in on AI chatbots, it seems like the focus is shifting away from standalone AI gadgets. But let's not forget about the researchers who are really digging into the nitty-gritty of AI. There's this paper that came out recently called Emergent Misalignment, and it's getting a lot of attention.
Yeah, it's really fascinating. It highlights just how dangerous even small changes to AI models can be. Basically, it shows how narrow fine-tuning, even for something that seems harmless, can lead to unintended consequences and create outputs that are actually harmful.
Okay, so in plain English, even trying to make an AI model do something really specific could backfire and make it go haywire.
Exactly. And that's why all this talk about AI safety and responsible development is so important. It's not just about preventing some robot uprising in the future. It's about making sure that the AI we're building today actually lines up with our values and doesn't create unintended risks.
It's getting pretty deep. So we've got OpenAI, we've got Meta, and these researchers all wrestling with these huge challenges of developing AI. But let's lighten things up for a second, talk about some of the cool open source tools that are coming out. We have DualPipe from DeepSeek, Diffusion Studio from ModelScope, and CoTUQ, which is all about this thing called uncertainty quantification in large language models. What jumps out at you?
Well, they're all interesting, but Diffusion Studio is really cool. It's basically a platform and code base for working with all these different types of diffusion models, which are super popular for generating high-quality images and even videos.
Oh yeah, I've seen those crazy AI-generated images popping up everywhere. So Diffusion Studio gives developers the tools to create and play around with these models.
Exactly. And it's a perfect example of how open source projects are making AI technology more accessible, letting more people contribute to the development of it and explore its potential for creativity.
That's awesome. It's encouraging to see the open source community playing such a big role in shaping the future of AI.
It really is. And it reminds us that AI development isn't just happening behind closed doors at these big tech companies. There's this huge global ecosystem of researchers and developers and just enthusiasts who are all contributing to the field.
This has been an incredible deep dive so far. We've covered the latest AI headlines, open source tools, the importance of responsible AI development. It's clear that the world of AI is just evolving at an insane pace and is more important than ever to stay on top of it.
Absolutely. And that's why we're here, to help you navigate this whole complex and rapidly changing landscape.
We've covered so much already, and there's still more to unpack, so stay tuned for part 2 of our AI deep dive.
Welcome back. Before we jump into the next headline, we were talking about Diffusion Studio and how it's making these powerful AI models more accessible to people. It's pretty amazing when you think about the potential there is for creativity, but also for misinformation.
Right. Yeah. It is exciting and kind of scary at the same time. Like, imagine if just anyone could create these super realistic deepfakes with just a few clicks.
Yeah.
That's a whole other thing.
Exactly. That's why we need to be having these conversations about responsible AI development and these ethical guidelines. As these tools get more and more powerful and easier to use, we need to be super careful about how they're being used.
For sure. Okay, back to the headlines. We talked about OpenAI and GPT 4.5. We talked about Meta and their chatbot ambitions. What else is going on in the AI world right now?
Well, we can't forget about Ilya Sutskever and his safe superintelligence venture. It's the one that's been making headlines with its crazy $30 billion valuation, even though they don't have a product yet.
Yeah, it's wild, right? Like, that's so much money riding on something that's still just an idea.
Yeah.
Do you think they can actually do it?
It's hard to say. I mean, on one hand, you've got Sutskever, who's like a genius when it comes to AI and deep learning. He's definitely got the experience and the knowledge to make people believe in what he's doing.
But on the other.
On the other hand, this whole safe superintelligence thing is such a huge goal. It's a problem that researchers have been trying to solve for decades. And even if they manage to create an AI that's smarter than humans, how can they be sure that it's going to be good for us and not turn against us?
It's the million-dollar question.
Or more like $30 billion question. But it's a question worth asking because if we're going to unlock AI's true potential, we need to make sure we're doing it in a way that helps humanity and doesn't hurt it.
Absolutely. Okay, so safe superintelligence is a big gamble, but it could pay off big time. But while they're focused on this long-term goal of achieving AGI, other people are working on making the AI we already have easier to use and more reliable. We talked about it a little earlier, but let's go back to DeepMind and their research on human-computer interaction.
Right, HCI.
Yeah.
This is some really important work because it's focused on how we're actually going to interact with AI systems, especially as they become more and more complex and advanced. It's all about making sure that AI is easy to understand, transparent, and accountable to us.
So it's not just about making AI smarter. It's about making AI that we can actually trust and work with effectively.
Yeah, exactly. We need to be able to understand why AI is making certain decisions and be able to step in if something goes wrong. It's about building a partnership between humans and AI, not a master-servant relationship.
I like that. A partnership. Because at the end of the day, AI is a tool. And like any tool, it's up to us to decide how we use it.
Totally agree. And that's why it's so important to talk about the ethics of AI development. We need to think about what values we want to build into these systems and what could happen as a result of the choices they make.
It feels like we're at a crossroads. We have this incredibly powerful technology, and we have to figure out the right way to use it.
And that path has to be built with collaboration, transparency, and commitment to human values.
Well said. Okay, so we've covered the latest headlines, the race to AGI, the importance of responsible AI development. Is there anything else you think people listening should know about as they try to understand this crazy, fast-moving world of AI?
I think the most important thing is to remember that AI is always changing. What's groundbreaking today might be old news tomorrow. So stay curious, stay informed, and don't be afraid to ask questions.
Yeah, don't just accept everything you hear. Do your own research, think critically, and come to your own conclusions.
And remember, this isn't just about some far-off future AI. It is already having a huge impact on our world, from how we get information to how we work and live. So it's super important that we're all part of this conversation and help shape where AI goes next.
This has been an awesome deep dive, and we're not done yet. We'll be right back in a moment to finish things up and explore what the future holds for AI. And we are back. We have covered so much, from those buzzy headlines to these bigger questions about where AI is going. But before we wrap up, let's zoom out for a sec. I keep hearing this thing about how AI is going to change everything. Is that just hype, or is there something to it?
It's definitely not just hype. We're already seeing AI changing huge industries like healthcare, transportation, and finance. And as AI keeps getting smarter, it's going to have an even bigger impact.
Okay, so what does that actually look like? What are some examples of that?
Sure. So in healthcare, AI is being used to come up with new drugs, diagnose diseases way earlier, and even personalized treatments.
Wow.
In transportation, it's powering self-driving cars, making traffic flow better, and helping to make our roads safer.
Yes. And in finance, AI is being used to catch fraud, manage investments, and give people personalized financial advice.
That's pretty amazing. But also a little scary. I mean, are robots going to take over all our jobs?
It's a common worry, but it's important to remember that AI is a tool just like anything else. And like any tool, it can be used for good or bad. It's up to us to guide its development and make sure it's used in a way that benefits everyone.
So how do we do that? I mean, it seems like AI is advancing so fast that it's hard to keep up, let alone actually steer it in the right direction.
I think the key is to have these open discussions and collaborations between researchers, policymakers, industry leaders, and just everyday people. We need to talk about the values we want AI to have, the potential risks we need to avoid, and the kind of impact we want it to have on society.
So it's not just the tech people who need to figure this out. It's a conversation we all need to be a part of. Exactly. And that's where things like we discussed earlier come in. DeepMind's research on human-computer interaction, for instance. That's all about making sure AI systems are understandable and accountable to humans.
It's like we're building a bridge to the future, and we have to make sure it's strong enough for everyone to cross.
I like that. It really shows how important careful planning, thoughtful design, and constant attention are as we move forward in this new territory.
All right, so we've covered a lot in this deep dive. The latest breakthroughs, the potential risks, and the importance of developing AI responsibly. What's the big takeaway for our listeners?
I think the main takeaway is this AI is here to stay, and it's going to completely change how we live, work, and interact with the world. It's on us to stay informed, engaged, and help shape the future of this incredible technology.
We get to sit back and watch. We have to be a part of it.
Exactly. This is just the beginning of the conversation. There's still so much more to explore, to learn, to talk about.
So true. Well, everyone, that's a wrap for a deep dive into the world of AI. Hopefully you found it insightful and interesting.
If you did, make sure to like, share, and follow us to keep up with all the newest AI developments. And don't forget to join the conversation, too. We'd love to hear what you think.
Until next time, keep exploring, keep learning, and keep diving deep into the world around you.